This video shows some of the better caged-burr puzzles that I've built over the last several years. And in particular, it shows how to build Trichromat, probably one of my favorite burr puzzles using a 3D printer. There you'll find the STL files for this that are linked in the description. I'll quickly show some of my favorite caged burrs. You can then find the STLs for Trichromat in the link in the description. This has got the advantage of being easy assembly. You don't need a solution or burr tools, any software. And I'll show you where you can get more models to download puzzles like this. So these are some of my favorite designers: Stefan Baumegger, Andrew Kroll, Christoph Lowe. And they've got a number of caged-burr puzzles that we'll quickly take a look at. For beginning puzzlers, starting with caged burrs that only have 2 and 3 burrs inside them are nice to start with. This is Lilliput by Christoph Lowe. Damstra's created something called Little Trick. It's got 3 burrs, a little more complicated. These are very approachable and a great way to start on caged burrs. Key Trap by Christoph Lowe is a classic. Everyone should print this. The idea is to remove the red key from the lock. I found it easy to number the burrs on the back. Fairly complicated puzzle. Took me quite a while to solve that. Neighborhood's another one of my favorite puzzles. About 24 moves, but reasonably complicated. The burrs are very stable. Found this a lot of fun to take apart. One of the things you'll learn here is how some burrs can control the movement of others here. The red burr is sort of a gate, control the movement of the green burrs back and forth. You'll notice a lot of my tops are removable. This one has 4 screws holding them together. It makes the puzzle very easy to reset by taking the top off, putting the burrs in, and then screwing the top back on. Climber was a reasonably complicated puzzle. It was designed by Andrew Kroll and Christoph Lowe. You'll notice some of the parts have slants here, a little different shape. This is about 50 moves to remove the first piece in this, so this takes a little time to get used to. So the idea here is to work with them over a reasonable amount of time. They're not something to complete quickly. Timber is also by Christoph Lowe, a great puzzle. It's got about 31 moves to the first removal. Had a lot of fun with this one. This took quite a while to find this magic move that would allow me to move forward. Talisman's by Stefan Baumegger, and he's made a lot of puzzles in unique shapes. The idea here is to remove the talisman at the top. He's got a whole King Arthur theme with swords and different instruments in the middle of the puzzles. A lot of fun. You can find his website at puzzleleisure.com on Facebook. Rush Hour by Baumegger is similar to Trichromat in that it's about 40 moves to remove the first piece, but it's a lot more complex. The burrs are different shape and there's more options. I have only started trying to remove the burrs of this puzzle. This seems like it's going to take a lot longer to solve than the Trichromat puzzles. The shapes of the burrs have a lot to do with their complexity. Trichromat is the featured puzzle here. I find this is a great balance for my level. It's got about 40 moves to remove the first piece. It's got a removable top. The burrs are all inscribed, so they're easy to put together and assemble without needing any solution guide. The parts move very easy. And it's a great size that fits a hand well. Now, Yavuz Demirhan has made 2 versions of this, Trichromat 1 and Trichromat 2. 2 is a little more complex. I think it's 64 moves to remove the first puzzle. I have solved both of these. I enjoyed them immensely. The second puzzle, number 2, the cage is not symmetric, so the way you put those burrs inside is very important, whereas with the original Trichromat, you can put the burrs in as long as they fit, then that's fine. I spent 2 weeks trying to solve 2 with the burrs in the wrong orientation inside the cage. So let's look at the details about the Trichromat puzzle. It's designed by Yavuz Demirhan, who's kindly given me permission to distribute the STLs that I've designed here for his caged-burr puzzles. Very prolific. You can contact him on Facebook. He has a puzzle site that you can buy, wooden puzzles on Cubazone TR, an Etsy store. He handcrafts all the puzzles, as you can see here. The first step in building is obviously getting the STLs, which are linked in the description, and to build each of the parts. You'll notice that all the parts are inscribed with different icons, circles, squares, X's, and those will help put the burrs together. The frame comes in 2 pieces and can be screwed together either in heat inserts, or there's a copy of the base which you can screw directly into plastic if you don't have the heat inserts. The screws that I recommend are M3 by 8 or 10. I use socket head, but any of the other heads will work as well. And you basically assemble the burrs, which I'll show in a second, put them into the frame, and then screw the top and bottom together. You don't need burr tools or any solution for this. Here are the parts to the Trichromat puzzle. And you'll notice that they're all have some of these etchings on them. The circles indicate how the burr pairs go together. So the idea is you take the 2 blue burrs and you put the circles over top of each other, and that's how they're oriented to each other. The square and the X indicates how the pairs go together relative to each other. So we'll start building with the red burr pair. We'll use this part of the cage. We'll orient those 2 burrs together and put them in a way where it's easy to add the other 2 burr pairs. So you'll notice the burr pair with the square attaches at the top, the X at the middle. So the green goes together like that. You'll see the square there, which will go and attach to the red burr shown here. So the idea is we just put the squares over top of each other, and that's how they orient. So we'll put those green burrs in first. This is the bottom one. Not necessarily the easiest way to do it, but this is one that worked for me. You're free to experiment in how to put these together. The X shows how the blue pair aligns. You'll notice that one of the burrs of the blue have the X, corresponding X. So you make sure that goes next to it. Sometimes getting that last burr, in this case the green burr, on can be a little bit of work. In this case, if we lift up the base, one of the red burrs will sort of sink, and it makes it a little easier to get that green burr in. We'll have to bring the blue burr closest to us a little to the left. Right there. That will slide under, and then the red burr will come up. So then you can jiggle them together and get the burrs, the 6 burrs, oriented properly. From there, you just put the top on and screw together. You will notice there's some little slots that are raised to help orient the 2 parts of the cage properly. Some cages are not symmetric. This one happens to be symmetric, so it doesn't really matter which way you put the burrs in as long as they fit. The red burrs do not need to be facing out under the lettering, it could be the green or the blue. Now, to make sure that you've got these together properly, your first few moves could be to move this blue burr and the green burr out. As long as you can move those two out, you've probably assembled this properly. So the STL building files for this, for your 3D printer, is at printables.com. You can just look under the Designs by Crab, or you can go to this link. There's also the link in the description which you can click. You can also get more puzzle models from a site called Puzzle Will Be Played. Here you can see the pictures of the burrs, and this is a great way to learn 3D modeling. I encourage everyone that's got a 3D printer to learn how to model different parts, and this is a great way to learn because the parts are so simple. They're basically squares and rectangles. So if you want to learn something like Fusion 360 or Onshape or FreeCAD, these are great puzzles to sort of cut your teeth into learning those 3D modeling programs. Arc Puzzles is a great resource to buy already pre-made puzzles or downloads with STL files so you can build your own right away, as well as the Printable Puzzle Project, which is distributed through many sites, one of them being printables.com, and they also have the STLs and assembly instructions for all theirs, and you'll find a number of different puzzles there. I hope you get a chance to build Trichromat if you've got a 3D printer. It's a great caged burr for puzzlers of all ages.